Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance on hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. Today I have a very interesting video for you guys. Do you remember how I've mentioned in other videos that there is a YO program in the adult prison? Okay, we're not talking about juvenile jail and prison here. We're talking about the actual adult prison. Well, in the adult prison, there is a section called the YO program, and that is where the kids are sent. The US is the only country in the entire world that sentences kids to life in prison. So when you have a bunch of kids that have nothing to lose and they haven't developed that maturity level yet, it's very scary. I've told you stories, man. Those kids will squat up on you. They put a CO in a trash can one time and lit it on fire. They lock the COs in the closet. There's a lot of gang banging and just crazy stuff going on over there. Well, I found this guy on YouTube. His name is Jake, and I'm obsessed with his channel, guys. Like, I am a subscriber. I have my notification bell on. I watch his videos. I click the like, and I comment. Like, he is doing really good things. He's a young guy. He's 24 years old, but do not let the age fool you because he's very, very wise, and he tells it like it is over on his channel. Well, I got him to come over here and expose the real details of what happens in the YO program for y'all, so y'all can hear straight from a person that has spent 3 years over there, okay? Trigger warning. There's going to be a lot of horrifying details. He does not hold back. So make sure there are no children or anybody else around while you watch this video. If there are, mommies and daddies, aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters, just save the video and come back to it. Okay, I'm done rambling. Let's hear what he has to say.
What's up, everybody? My name is 1090 Jake. I was 18 years old when I was sentenced to 36 months, Florida State Prison. I was sentenced as an adult, but I was reclassified as a youth offender by the Department of Corrections. So when you go to prison for your first time, if you're under 21, you're going to be reclassified as a YO. And it's the worst thing that can happen to you. The YOs in the state of Florida are notorious for being extremely violent. Everybody knows it. They've been in the news, the papers, everything. They have the highest rates of inmate-on-inmate violence, and there's also a high rate of officer or staff on inmate violence. My first year inside of the YOs, my face was slit open. I had a 7-inch cut going from the top of my temple down to my neck. I have a scar in the back of my head. Somebody took a brick, put it in a canteen bag, and busted me over the head with it. I had a hole in my head that I had to get sewed up. My first year inside of the youth offender prisons, I can't even count how many people get hit up. The second you get to these prisons, you're beat by the correctional officers. They want to get your attention. They want to let it be known they are in charge of these prisons. When I was at the reception center, I was given a minute to memorize a paper. And I was told if I memorize it correctly, I can eat. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your feelings. Watch your feelings, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, becomes your lifestyle. Watch your lifestyle, it controls your destiny. This is my extended day creed, sir. So that's what we had to say. That's what we had to repeat. And I actually got it right the first time. And I was given a tray of food. The kid next to me, he probably got the first 2 lines right. Messed up on the third one. The CO slapped the tray of food onto him. They ended up beating him. They made him pick the food up off of the floor, throw it in the trash. He didn't get to eat. These officers play dirty, and a lot of these officers took advantage of the fact that they know we're young. And a lot of these young kids that get sent to prison, their family doesn't remain in contact. We're pretty much left in there without any voice, anyone to tell what's going on, anyone to give us support or any type of guidance. The second you put in these facilities, like I said, the COs are on you the second you get there. And it's not just slaps. You got kids that are getting their jaws broken. You got some kids that are getting jumped by the COs to the point that they need to get sent to a hospital. You have some COs that are beating inmates with the walkie-talkie, splitting their heads, and then blaming it on other inmates, putting both inmates in confinement for 200-300 days at a time. I did over a year in confinement. I was sentenced starting off to 290 days. I did 21 days in the psych cell, and this is all at one time. It's crazy. It's crazy being in confinement. People are getting cut in confinement. You're fighting your cellmates in confinement. I was cut on my face in confinement, but the razor I was cut with was dull, so it didn't actually leave a cut. It was more of a scratch, but it was enough to wake me up. He cut me on my chest too. That one actually left a scar though. I was gassed in confinement multiple times. They would do what they call drive-bys, where they pop the cells to everyone's flat, where they would serve you food, and they would go through and gas like 10 rooms at a time. And it wasn't, a lot of people here locked down 23 and 1, where 23 hours in the cell, 1 hour a rec. There were times when we didn't get rec for 3-4 weeks at a time. You're just stuck in your cell. There was times where we got bucked on showers for up to a week. We weren't allowed to come out and shower. You had to bathe yourself in your sink. They put you in the cells with opposite gang members, everything. As far as the dorms go, when you get put into a youth offender dorm, it's action the second you get in there. Right when you get in there, inmates are running up to you. They got knives out, locks and socks, razors, box cutters, whatever. They want to make you break it off. They want to extort you. Majority of these dorms don't have any cameras inside of them. So everything that's going on, nothing is being recorded. There's only a CO in the bubble, but the CO will go outside for 15 minutes, smoke a cigarette, and talk to the other COs. So when they go outside, all hell breaks loose. It's going down. If less than 5 people got hit up in a day, we could still go to rec. And what I mean by hit up is putting a brick or a lock in a sock, hitting someone over the head with it, leaving a patch in their head missing. You had kids getting cut with razor blades. You had kids getting cut with box cutters to the point that their skin, their cheek would detach. You would see all their teeth in their mouth. The muscle would get cut through, so they need to be shipped to a hospital and have their face put back together. They need reconstructive surgery. You had kids that were getting held down and poked up 100, 200 times. You know, when you go to medical in prison, every single laceration, every single stab wound has to be written down and recorded and taken a picture of. So we used to hear from the COs how many stitches so-and-so needed, or how many times so-and-so was stabbed. And they would tell us these things to intimidate us. When you got to these prisons, the COs would tell you, you know, you might get raped with a broomstick, because that was the type of things that were happening. They were taking broomsticks and scraping the handles off the floor so that it splintered. So when they put it inside of you, you have no other choice but to seek medical attention. If you're not willing to be extorted, they're making sure you can't live in that dorm. You have to stop the bleeding. And you had some kids that were 14, 15 years old that were put on bags because their intestines were damaged beyond repair. Mind you, these youth offender prisons, they're 14 to 24 years old. My first prison was 14 to 18. My second one was 14 to 24. These are the age groups in here. The majority is 16, 17, 18, 19. And you have to make a decision, not when you get there, but before you get there, if you're going to be a victim or not. You have to make that decision. If you go in there thinking you're going to be able to read your Bible and just do your time, it's not going to happen. If you're not gang affiliated, 9 times out of 10, you're going to become gang affiliated, or you're going to rock with whatever city you're from. It's how it goes. And if you're going to be by yourself, there are people that are by themselves, but you're going to go through hell, because you're going to have to get tested in every single dorm, every single prison that you go to It's like you just keep starting over. In Florida State Prison, they call it a TOH. It's a test of hot. You can Google it. I mean, there's federal lawsuits about these TOHs. Everybody gets TOH'd. And these are generally the times when people have to deal with the broomsticks or having their manhood lit on fire, have boiling water poured over them. You know, you got some kids that would get knocked out repeatedly, woken back up and knocked out again. And we're not in cells. These are open bay dorms. It's just bunk beds. You're in a big open room with 80 other people. And it's going down non-stop. You have to sleep with rags over your face so you don't get cut in your sleep. You put books inside of your jacket so you don't get stabbed. You take your laundry bag and put it over your head so someone doesn't drop a metal footlocker on top of your head, causing you to have a seizure. And now a helicopter needs to come pick you up because you're unresponsive. These are the things we were dealing with. And this is what I saw at the very beginning of going to prison. It's the most violence I've ever been exposed to. I didn't know how to take it in. I just saw what was going on and I accepted it. There was no stopping it. There was no preventing it. And it came to a point where I had to partake in it. Either it was going to happen to me or I had to make it happen. And I made it happen. And I still got hit up anyway. You know what I mean? It didn't save me from getting hit up. It probably saved me from dying. You had some kids that didn't make it home. You had some kids that died in the wars. You had some kids that died during a TOH. You had some kids that died because of the COs. And the COs that have been arrested. The COs that have been charged. It's bad. But for some reason, these places are still up and running. They're still functioning. They haven't been shut down. They haven't received the publicity that's needed to actually make a difference in these places. See, the thing about these TOHs, these broomsticks and everything like that, we don't have access to broomsticks unless the mop closet is opened. The mop closet isn't opened unless the CO opens it. Almost everything that happens inside of these prisons is allowed by the COs. The COs let the inmates clean house. COs allow it to happen. If you do something on a certain shift where the CO doesn't let people do things, that CO is going to beat you into the ground. You're going to pay for it. There's repercussions. So not only are you at war with the inmates around you, but you're also at war with these correctional officers. And there's been COs that have been hit up. There's been COs that have been attacked. And there's been inmates that have gone missing and have never been heard from and have been buried at compounds. There's COs that have gone under investigation for murder and somehow still maintained their job. There are inmates that have died from natural causes, but no explanation as to how it happened. There's been deaths that have been under investigation for like 5 years now. There's been deaths since when I was in prison from 2013 to 15 that are still under investigation to this day. These youth offender prisons were so bad, if less than 5 people got hit up, we could go to rec. It was normal. Every single dorm, things were popping off. You know what I mean? You just start seeing things that you're not used to seeing until you're desensitized to the violence. Either that or it consumes you. And you got a lot of kids that take their own life. Whether they got 30 years or 2 years, they just can't handle it. They can't handle what they're seeing, or they can't handle what they've been through. They've been victimized. And they've just been damaged beyond repair, whether it's physically or mentally. You have these places where if you don't go in an angry person, you will become one. Because at the end of the day, whether you can stand on your own against the inmates, you're not going to beat the correctional officers. And that's what's going to bother you. Whether you're the one that's handcuffed to a pole getting beaten, or you have to watch someone else get beaten. And something that bothered me the most, it wasn't even what I was seeing, but it was the fact that when I closed my eyes, the sounds that I heard that stuck with me the most. The sounds, it's what I remember the most, in the most detail. Because it's things I've never heard before. The sound of somebody begging, or the sound of someone's body convulsing. The smell of the blood. It's when you watch movies, really the only element you're dealing with is what you're seeing. But when you actually live through it, you experience so much more, and you experience it on such a different level. It stays with you. You can't just forget about it. And when you're put into a position where you have to physically harm somebody out of survival, it's hard to mentally overcome that. Because the same thing you're doing to that person, when it comes back to you, that's what affects you so much, is the fact that you were helpless. I was helpless when I got cut. There was no preventing it, how it went about. And once my face was opened up, there was nothing I could do. When I was cut, I was pulled into the captain's office. They wanted me to tell on who cut me. I told him I didn't see who cut me. I didn't even admit to getting cut. I told him I fell down the stairs. I was beaten because I wouldn't tell. I was put into a cell in confinement under investigation. I wouldn't sign the paper to go into protective custody. I was put under investigation. I wasn't allowed to shower. I wasn't allowed to change my clothes. I sat in that cell until I was transferred 5 days later with the same blood-stained uniform. The picture behind me is a painting of the mugshot when I was transferred to Lancaster CI 5 days after I was cut. I still had the cut glued together. They hot glued my face shut. I didn't have to get stitches. When I was gassed in confinement at Lancaster, I wasn't gassed with a regular can. I was gassed with a riot can, which is the biggest sized can that they have. The force of it, when it hit me, it blew my shirt to the point that my shirt was pulling on the other side of my body because of the force of the gas. It burnt the skin off of my ribs where they directly hit me with it. My skin was just raw. I saw kids get knocked unconscious by these COs. I've seen kids have their teeth knocked out of their mouth. And I've seen kids get hit with box cutters, stabbed up, screaming, crying. It's insanity. It's non-stop warfare. And you know, it's an environment that, even though we as inmates and the gang members need to take responsibility, but it's an environment controlled by these correctional officers, and all they're doing is fueling the fire. You have correctional officers that favor gang members. They will let you hit people up. But even more so, they will tell you specifically who to hit up if they have a problem with a inmate and they don't feel like dealing with it. They'll make you remove that inmate from the dorm. So when you're marching the chow, they'll turn the blind eye, and now this kid just got cut. Not because of anything major. He could have just gave attitude to the CO, or he could have made his bunk not the way the CO wanted it made. He could have, made a 7-inch collar instead of a 6-inch collar. His pillow could have been crooked, and now he's cut open because that CO wanted him gone. That's how serious these camps are. And anyone that's, willing to take the time to educate themselves on it, I salute and I appreciate anybody willing to do so. You can Google Florida TOH, Florida Youth Offender Prisons, and all of these articles, they're going to pop up. You're going to see it. And what's crazy is there's so much publicity surrounding these prisons, and they haven't been closed down. They haven't been stopped. These correctional officers are still getting away with what they're doing inside of these prisons. And then people have the nerve to wonder why so many people get out of prison and go right back in. How do we adjust into society when there's no rehabilitation inside of prison and there's no help when we get out of prison? When I was released after my 3 years, I got out of Florida immediately. I went up to Boston. What I did is I voluntarily got myself into a recovery program. I wasn't able to get into a re-entry program because I wasn't convicted in the state of Massachusetts. So I had to tell them that I was a recovering drug addict and I didn't want to go back to prison. I had to lie to get in. Not that I never did drugs, but I wasn't an addict. I wasn't shooting heroin. My life wasn't at risk due to drugs. But this is the way I had to go about things. Mind you, I got into this program my 3rd day out. I told myself that if I can do 3 years in prison, a year in confinement, I can do a couple of months in this program and learn how to function in society so I don't fail, so I don't go back into prison 10, 20 years, or even a life sentence, never have the option of going home. You had some kids that became so violent in prison because they were forced to. Because they weren't willing to get raped. They weren't willing to be extorted. That when they came home, they didn't know how to react to people. So when someone was disrespectful, or when someone started something, they lashed out the same way they would inside of prison. The only difference is in prison, you would get 60 days in confinement for cutting someone, and you would come right back out. In society, you might get 10 years for the same thing. I was willing to put myself in a program and learn how to become a member of society. I found employment. I maintained employment. I eventually moved out of the program into a sober house. I was getting drug tested just to live in this sober house, but I was willing to do so because I was meeting people that were willing to help me. I was meeting people that had did more time than me, had more experience than me, living as a felon in society. I could see the positive in what I was doing, even though it wasn't what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do was get out and play catch up. I wanted to get on social media. I wanted to compare my life to other people my age, to the kids that I knew in high school, to everyone that forgot about me. I see them driving cars and working better jobs. They got girlfriends, whatever it is. I have nothing. But the more I focused on that, the more I lost focus on what was important. And what was important was understanding myself. Understanding that I need to learn how to live out here before I can reach that level. Because if I try to do so getting fast money, I'm going to end up back in prison even faster. I became a manager. I was running multiple store locations. I had multiple employees. I was trusted with bank deposits every single week of multiple thousands of dollars. Things were getting better and better. And, eventually I found myself on YouTube watching prison channels. And it hit me so hard because it was like nothing else I've ever experienced. I've been in therapy since I was a young kid. But it was different. Because it wasn't a therapy session. I was listening to someone express what they've been through, and I related to it. And that's what inspired me to create a YouTube channel, is I found that the more I spoke on these things, the more it helped me adjust. The more I spoke on it, the more people heard it, and the more people reached out to me, willing to help me. With making these videos, I hope to return the favor. You know, for anyone especially that's been through Florida prison, the Florida youth offenders, the support system that you come home to is vital, in my opinion. That is what plays a major role in if you're going to be able to maintain living in society. And I found my support system through the recovery program and through YouTube. A lot of people are willing to listen to my story, and I never expected that. I never expected people to actually genuinely care and genuinely want to hear that I'm doing good. In prison, you feel so alone that when you come out and it's been years and you've lost all the relationships that you had, you feel even more alone, even though you're free. Your social skills have changed because you've adjusted into a different society where you can't be friendly. You need to be aggressive. You need to be violent. Or maybe it was the other way for you. Maybe you were the victim and you just needed to be quiet because you weren't allowed to speak out. These videos are helping me every single day adjust in society and overcome my experiences. And I'm hoping that I am also able to help anyone that's able to watch these videos and relate. But not only that, I hope that people that have never experienced this, for one, never have to, and are able to educate themselves through these videos. And hopefully somebody in a position of power is able to make a change to the prison systems. And I just want to thank Christina for letting me share my story, share a piece of my experience with everyone, and hopefully we can make a difference. Thank you.
Whew. That was a lot. I'm trying to tell you guys, it is no joke in there. All this stuff that you guys are seeing on TV, these pretty little jails and prison shows where everything's all cordial and it runs together all smoothly and, you know, everybody just kind of getting along and people are just serving their time. That is not the reality of what really happens behind those gates. I'm trying to tell you guys, it's insane. It is traumatizing. And I get it. We broke the law. We don't deserve to be treated like a human. But the things that go on behind those gates are beyond what my mind can even comprehend outside here. And you guys can't even imagine unless you've been there. And I pray and hope that you never, ever go there. So if you are watching this, if that didn't scare you, I'm here to tell you, walk the straight and narrow and watch who your friends are. I am going to leave Jake's channel and his Instagram linked down in the description box. Y'all make sure to go over there and subscribe to his channel. You guys know I only bring y'all the best of the best, okay? Like, I ain't bringing nobody on this channel for my babies unless I really feel like they have something amazing to offer you, and I really feel like he does. So when you go over there and subscribe, make sure to leave him a comment and let him know that you are from the baby gang so he knows. All right, friends, so if y'all think that was a crazy video, wait until you see what I have coming up for y'all next week. I interviewed a correctional officer here in the state of Florida. I'm trying to tell y'all, the state of Florida is crazy. I don't know where you've been to prison at, but here in Florida, y'all already know Florida has a crazy reputation anyways. I mean, I'm just saying. So I interviewed her for an hour, and she just quit 3 weeks ago, and she was a correctional officer for years. When I tell y'all she did not hold back, she gave you guys all the juicy details. You are going to flip when you hear what she has to say. So that'll be out for you guys next week. All right, guys, if you have any comments, please make sure to leave them in the comment section down below. Please don't forget to like this video. It's a free way that you can help your girl out. And until next time, I love you guys so very much. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.